Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's review of the Seiko's 5MS 7S263130, a timepiece that holds a special place in the hearts of watch collectors and enthusiasts around the world. This particular model is part of Seiko's 5 series, a lineup that's become almost legendary for its robust, affordable, and versatile automatic watches. Now, while Seiko's 5 lineup is vast, the 7S26 movement found within this particular model that we are looking at today has become a cornerstone for Seiko's legacy in the entry level automatic watch market. So in this review, we'll take a look at why this watch continues to be collectors' favorite, its enduring legacy, and of course the pros and cons. So before we get into the discussion on this particular model, just brief history and legacy. Now remember that the Seiko 5 and this particular model, the MS 7S263130, is more than a watch. It's part of Seiko's history, representing the Japanese brand's innovation and dedication to delivering quality mechanical watches at an accessible price point. Now remember back in the 1990s, when the Japanese manufacturers were trying to get into the mechanical watch making, they were competing with the legendary Swiss brand. They still are. But since the 90s, they have been able to provide a formidable competition to the Swiss brands. Because ever since the Seiko and other Japanese brands have been able to establish a distinctive design, durability, and value. So the 5 in Seiko or Seiko, or whichever way people pronounce, stands for the 5 key attributes that the Seiko promises on all models in its series. So the 5 here is that distinctive 5 that we see, a kind of a insignia or logo, and it has updated since. For example, in the current model, which is just to compare, you have this Seiko's automatic GMT. You got this 5, which is almost sort of a S, and that is symbolic of the 5 key attributes. And I'll try to review one of these in one of these days, the GMT automatic, which is one of the current versions of Seiko's 5 series. Now, the 5 attributes that we talk about in Seiko are the automatic movement. The watches will have an automatic movement. It'll have a day-date complication. It'll have water resistance. It'll have a durable case and a recessed crown. Now, these features made it a favorite among watch enthusiasts looking for a dependable, everyday wear watch that didn't break the bank. So it was a formidable competition to the Swiss brand. So now the 7S26 movement found inside the MS 3130 is crucial to this legacy. This model was released in 1996. So this particular watch that you're seeing is almost 30 years old. The 7S26 was designed as a no-frills, reliable automatic movement. While it's often overlooked in the era of more sophisticated, high-frequency movements, the 7S26 has stood the test of time as one of the most reliable and low-maintenance calibers in Seiko's lineup. So what makes the 7S260 legendary? For one, its robustness. While the 7S26 doesn't feature fancy complication or high-end finishes, it is known for its accuracy and long sort of a life. Like I said, this particular one that I am looking at is almost 30 years old, and this has been a long, in family kind of a watch, which has been passed on from generation to generation. So it's a movement that's often described as set it and forget it. It's been very reliable, and in my personal experience, this is just a no-brainer. This watch is simple, practical in its movement, and has made it a go-to for people who want an automatic watch that they can wear without worrying about daily winding or delicate care. So one thing that I often sort of look at in terms of reviews that I see on some of the social media channels. about the new brands or brands which have never been heard of is looking at the reliability. I know some of these watches are not very expensive, they're fancy, they're looking great, but when we talk about brands like Seiko or some of the Swiss brands, it's not just the particular model, it is the legacy. How many years or experience these companies have, or the skill set that they have accrued over decades, and that reflects in the models that they manufacture and produce and sell, and thereby what we are buying today. For example, in this particular model, the Seiko 5's current iteration of the GMT is just not a watch which has been introduced in the last 3, 4, 5 years. Definitely the movement that the watch has would have an experience or has the skill set or the learning power of the last 30 odd decades, which has been refined over the time. So uh, it does sometimes feel a little I would say confusing to look at thousands of watches that we have on some of these online sites, and then we're deciding which one to buy. uh, I can't recommend anything, but if I were buying a watch or if I were purchasing a brand, I would definitely give a heavy weightage to the reliability of the brand, reliability of the particular caliber and the watch in my decision. So, but that's me. That is again a decision which changes or has weightage from person to person. So why is this particular model a collector's favorite? It's basically, like I said, it was affordable and accessible, and it still is. I mean, some of the most uh, beautifully made with highly reliable movement are the Seiko's 5 series. So it's part of an effort to make automatic watches accessible to everyone, and not just collectors, or maybe for very elite group. So the quality of these timepieces are second to none, obviously, and the stainless steel case is durable and wears comfortably, and the day date function is practical for everyday use. It's very easy to set. It's very simple, the complications in this particular model. And the stainless steel, if you see, this one is almost 30 years old, and it has still uh, or it still is looking pretty good, and it has held the test of time. And I would say that the overall shape of the watch has been kept really well. It's sort of survived really well over the last 30 odd years. That's almost 3 decades. Now the movement, the 7S 2X movement, though it's very basic, it operates at a standard 21,600 vibrations per hour and has a 40-hour power reserve, which is highly regarded for its reliability. It's movement that does its job with little fuss, and for collectors who want a watch that can be worn daily without requiring constant attention, this 7S2X is a great option. Obviously, uh, the servicing on the watch, again, is not a very high priority. It doesn't require too much of servicing. This is a no-brainer watch. Now, the cool factor is obviously the brand. It has a cult following. The legendary, now the 5 has a cult following for enthusiasts and collectors alike. Owning a Seiko 5 MS 7S2X 3130 is not about the quality of the watch, but also being part of the global Seiko fan community. Like I said, it's been running for 3 decades now, because I see a lot of online forums, Instagram accounts, or YouTube reviews. Seiko's enthusiasts proudly showing off their 5 series watches, and owning one connects you to the larger watch collecting subculture. Now, I particularly had wanted to have that, the one of the earliest models, and obviously some of the current models, so that I can sort of proudly say that I have a continued legacy ownership of this legendary model. Now, let's quickly look at the some of the specs on this watch, and this is coming at right around 36 millimeters or 35 on the top, but if I were to look at the overall, it's about 36 millimeters. Now it has a little strange type of bracelet will require a custom, replacement bracelet. But I'm sure you can find a adapter that will allow any of the regular leather or NATO straps to be fitted on this particular watch. And this has a smaller 10 millimeter, insert that would have to be put in and then be attached to put a regular, let's say a 20 millimeter strap or uh, a leather, sort of a band or whatever. Now, this still looks good, if I were to. So this has a nice wear to it, and I like the color. The color is a soft, sort of a beige brown. It's got nice, the complementing little bit of gold, but not too much of, that gold that is in your face gold, but it's kind of complementing that beige brown dial that it has. It has the dates coming in regular, black, but for Saturdays and Sundays, it turns to blue and red, and then you have the date. And it's not very heavy. If I were to. So, so that's about 88.9 grams comparing to the most recent version that I have. That's roughly around 150 grams, which is shy, double the weight, shy of double the weight. But you can also see the thickness. It's almost gone 14 millimeters versus 10 millimeters on this vintage Seiko 5. So this is still holding well. I like that bracelet. Look at the shine. It kind of gives a different shades as the light moves. It's got a very different sort of case. Sorry, the strap adjusting. If you want to take out any link, these are thicker ones. They won't really require the regular hole type. So this is the thicker type, if you can see this, and obviously that's what's holding this bracelet. And it's a well-made bracelet, I would say, and it's not very heavy. Now, what are the cons of this particular model? Now, remember, this is almost 30 years old model, but one thing that I realized soon was that it doesn't have the winding. So I can't manually wind this movement. The only way to get the power running is by wearing it or sort of giving it a little bit of shake, and that's how the rotor, I believe, would wind in this watch. There is no hacking function. Now, one of the most noticeable limitation, besides obviously the winding, is this particular model does not provide that hack feature. So this means that when you pull out the crown to adjust the time, the seconds hand continues to tick rather than stop. So while that may not be a deal breaker for many of us, but certain individuals may want a very, very precise time. So, normally you'd like to stop at the 12 o'clock position and then adjust and then start right at the time. So we may be a little bit of, off in terms of the time setup. It is basic movement. While the movement is reliable, the 7S26, it's not the most refined or accurate movement out there. Remember, this was one of the first Seiko 5 and Seiko's foray into the affordable mechanical automatic watches. So you won't find any frills or quite complication in terms of different items showing on the dial. So obviously at that time when it was introduced, it was a no match for a regular Swiss watch. The only way this watch could beat the Swiss watch was on price, and second is reliability in terms of you could just use it in different conditions, irrespective of whether you are a professional or you are a a outdoor a professional who's working on, let's say, construction or welding or some other jobs that you may not be wanting to wear your Swiss watch, you could wear a Seiko 5. Now, it does have limited water resistance, so obviously we don't have a screw down, a crown here to uh, sort of seal to have a deep, water wear. But this one, I believe, is going to provide you some security for up to 30 meters, which is fine for daily wear. So if I'm wearing it, washing my hands, I don't have to worry about getting the watch, get some water inside. So this is great for still for daily wear. Again, I don't think that's going to be a deal breaker for any of the watch collectors. Now, bracelet quality, while the stainless steel bracelet is durable, it is not the most refined or comfortable for some. It you might find, so you can see that how it's a little bit shaky because of this 10 mm, sort of a latch that's holding onto it. Now, sometimes when I'm wearing it and it sticks out too much, then I have to adjust it back again, and that creates a little bit of bother, inconvenience. But again, what can I expect? This is a 30-year-old watch. So, final thoughts, I would say Seiko 5 MS7S2X 3130 remains a beloved timepiece due to its balance of quality, affordability, and simplicity. Now, it has cemented its place in Seiko's legacy as a classic watch, but both functional and stylish, combination is what made this original Seiko 5 popular amongst the customers then and watch enthusiasts now. So while it may not have the sophistication of higher end Seikos or Swiss watches, it is practical and reliable, and it has so earned its name in the Hall of Fame. So for watch collectors, Seiko 5 MS7S263130 is more than just a piece of timekeeping technology. It's a connection to Seiko's heritage and a nod to a time when watches were designed to serve a purpose first and foremost. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just is starting to dive into the world of mechanical watches, this Seiko is a watch that continues to deliver on its promise. And I think this particular one is going to last for some more years to come, as long as I keep it, service and don't abuse it a whole lot. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this review, and I hope to bring you some more soon.